Now, I wanted to remake this video mainly just because of the fact that, well, one, I was like pretty young when I made it, or at least like I was in high school when I made it, like my freshman year. And two, I kind of wanted to make a more detailed version of the video without it having to go like very long, or better yet, without it just being all fucking muddled like how it was originally. So fuck it, I chose to remake it. Well, since you could read the title, and since you already know this video is basically a remake, you already know this video is about the Ben 10 fandom, because ooh boy, the Ben 10 fandom. Yeah, a totally sane place for totally sane people, but no one really seems to talk about it except for one guy in like what, 2015, but I don't even know where the fuck bro is anymore, so I guess I'll talk about it. And you know, it's everyone's favorite topic, everyone's favorite, like, it's kind of one of the essentials of being the unemployed friend, or just any unemployment person ever, and that is power scaling. I already made a video on power scalers and why it's just stupid. Like, the community behind power scaling is just fucking stupid. Like, you'll have that one dude who couldn't even get like a fucking A in gym class. He didn't even show up for gym class. But the second you're like, oh, I think, you know, I think Quicksilver could beat insert random character, they'll just become like a fucking scholar, bro. They'll become like a college professor over power scaling. Like, make it make sense, bro. And that's one big issue with power scaling as a whole. But with Ben 10 power scalers, they deadass will literally shove it in your face that Ben could beat insert a bunch of characters. And when you try and basically argue with them on it, they will get fucking heated. And the Death Battle fiasco is the biggest example of this. Because Ben lost to Hal Jordan, just specifically Hal Jordan's Green Lantern, they got so furious at Death Battle, they decided to harass the people over at Death Battle. Which, like, look, Death Battle fucking sucks. Like, Death Battle sucks. They suck more dicks than Kim Kardashian. But I'm not gonna harass them because they made fucking Green Lantern beat Ben 10, dude. That's insane. Some Dan Sobel shit. Like, the power scaling community, as well as like Ben 10's power scalers, are basically like that one kid who would always be like, oh, my dad could beat up your dad. Like, they never really mature. That, and they treat their characters as if they're like the most OP beings in existence, when in reality there's probably more obscure characters that are way stronger. And speaking of something that's stronger, what's stronger than the bullshit power scaling community with this show is... Look, look, I can't talk about it, bro. I can't talk about it. Okay, dude, fucking chill. I'll talk about it. Gee. Now, what's stronger with this show, outside of the power scalers, is guts, is the... Look, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's incest and goonery.
What the fuck? No!
Nobody really seems to talk about this ever online, and I feel like I'm the only one doing so at least I'll add some detail that I never really added on in my original video. The Ben 10 fanbase has gone out of their way to ship Ben and Gwen, who are cousins, by the way, that are even fucking the grandpa and also Gwen. Like, why? Oh, but no, that's not all, because they really love to sexualize young Gwen, specifically from the first series. They will go out of their way to sexualize the ever-living shit out of her, and then when you bring it up to them, they're like, oh, well, they try and like justify it by saying that Gwen looks better than the grown one, which like that is some mini lad level behavior, dog. That is some mini lad level behavior to try and say that the grown version of a character isn't as good as the child version of the character. That, and they'll try and argue like, oh, who cares? Like, in my original video, this comment's been deleted, but I remember when I first uploaded it, someone tried to argue with me on this, and they were like, oh, who cares if they do this? Like, what? It's a child, bro. What do you mean, who cares? Like, the mental gymnastics one has to do to try and justify this is like insanity, dude. It is like purebred insanity. And same goes for the Avatar fandom. And it's why I wanted to include it in this portion of the video in a little bit more detail, because I never went into detail on my original video. That, and the fact that no one really talks about it, bro. Like, you'll have people trying to make careers off of sexualizing young Gwen, and nobody seems to care. Like, I just wanted to talk about it because no one seems to care, and I feel like I'm the only one talking about it, and it makes me feel like I'm losing my mind if I don't. Plus, the mental gymnastics of the fandom to try and justify these things is just complete nastiness. Like, it's just nasty and grimy. And speaking of goddamn grimy,
Oh, no. No.
get it? Grimy, Grimes. Fuck off. You know what I mean. I gave it its own spot because to me, it's very hypocritical because the fandom will try and pretty much force people to get into the show and treat it like it's, what, top 3 cartoons of all time, even though it ain't even top 20. Like, they'll try and get you into this show, but then when it comes down to them supporting the show, they barely even support it, except for, like, what, maybe 1 or 2 versions of the show, and that's it. And that's weird to me. Like, I can understand if, like, there's that one reboot or one version that nobody likes, but I never hear anything about the other versions, so it kind of makes me feel like nobody really watched those versions. I mean, TMNT fans watch all the versions like all the time, but Ben 10 fans never really do it. It's kind of weird. It's also very hypocritical in a way because you can't really just shove a series down someone's throat and then basically be like, nah, I ain't supporting the series. I only support one version of it. Like, what? Like, bro, how are you gonna try and force people to like a show and be like, oh no, it's top 3 cartoons of all time, but not even support any other version except for the one version you like? It's like if I was such a big Watchmen fan, but then I only recommend people the movie and not the source material or Doomsday Clock or even the TV show. Much like everything in the Ben 10 fandom, you have to do insane mental gymnastics to try and justify it.
Do something else with your worthless peon
Ben
life.
10's fandom is plagued with a lot, and I mean a lot of issues, from people who are very hypocritical and don't even really support the series they like, to the weirdos and the gooners and the incest shippers, to the power scalers. The power scalers are the ones doing harassment campaigns on anyone who disagrees with them, or better yet, anyone that just has Ben 10 lose. Then you have the incest shippers who basically just, I don't even need to explain that, that's just fucking disgusting. And then the gooners, which try and justify their goonery of a fucking child character. Which, bro, if any of these hit piece or fucking like pred hunting channels locked in, they could go for like a majority of internet artists or animators who sexualize these characters. Like, that's a gold mine for y'all, dog. And in all seriousness, I feel like people just really need to talk about that more and pretty much just try and shame these people, which that's a story for another time. We need to bring back shame. But anyways, time to go back on topic. You have the hypocrites who try and shove the series down people's throats and claim they're like, oh, true fans, but they only really support one version of the show or series they like. Ben 10's fandom is very plagued and toxic, and I barely see anyone really talk about it. I never really see anyone talk about it, and that kind of concerns me, and it also makes sense to me considering the show is, well, pretty irrelevant. And overall, I just wanted to say thank you for people who are still sticking around despite my shitty upload schedule, and as well as the fact that I chose to remake this video. So hey, at least I did something. At least I finally uploaded something I was already gonna upload. After this, I'm probably gonna go live stream, so yeah, at least you have something to look forward to, and you could just ask me questions or whatever the fuck. It's up to you, really. But fuck Ben 10's fan base. All my homies hate Ben 10's fan base.